Hello and welcome to my channel where we are making a gourmet tasting cake using a box mix. And today's cake is a classic white wedding cake, so stick around while we make something boxed but better. In a large mixing bowl we are going to add 1 white box mix, 2 large egg whites, 1 cup of sour cream, a half cup of oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 teaspoons of almond extract. Mix it all together for about 3 minutes, being sure to scrape down your sides so that it incorporates fully. If you're concerned about nut allergies, you can also use imitation almond extract. Spoon into 2 8-inch round pans that have been well greased and floured, and spread the batter evenly in your pan. You'll notice the batter is thick. This is exactly what we are looking for, since most wedding cakes are stacked into tiers, which are multiple cakes on top of each other. Having a more dense cake will make the structure of the tiers a lot more stable. Now it is time to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It has been 30 minutes and our cake layers are done. There are 2 ways to check to see if it is done. The first is the poke test. Gently poke it with your finger, and if it does not leave an indent, you know your cake is done. The other is the toothpick test. Insert a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, you know your cake is done. Now we will let these cool while we make our icing. In a large bowl, place 1 stick of room temperature butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half teaspoon of almond extract, and 1 pound of powdered sugar. It is important to sift it if the bag has not been freshly opened. Lastly, I am using 4 tablespoons of milk, but I am only starting with 2 tablespoons and then adding the other 2 halfway through my stirring. The amount of milk you will need will actually vary depending on how hot or cold the temperature of the room is around you. Cold butter will mean firmer icing, so you might need a half tablespoon extra of milk. However, if it's going to be a warm environment, add about a tablespoon less of milk to keep it from getting too soft. I'm not going to go too in-depth on how to decorate a cake because I've done so in my previous videos, so please refer to those. However, I will take a moment to talk about support systems if you are making a tiered wedding cake. If you are stacking cake tiers directly on top of each other, you need cake boards underneath each cake and dowel rods underneath that to help hold it up. The dowel rods will help to hold up each cake that is being stacked on top of the other. This will support the entire weight of the cake so that they do not begin to collapse in on one another or even fall over completely. When it comes to decorating the cake, obviously the design will be different because everyone has their own preference of wedding cake style. I will show a simple design that I have done on many wedding cakes that is very popular. Using a piping bag with a small round tip, I like to do a design that a lot of decorators call swirls, but I like to call it the fancy CSY. You'll see in a minute. The first swirl looks very much just like a fancy C, a little extra curly cues on the end. The second design is also similar, but this time I do an S shape with it. The third design is like the C, but then you do an extra curl on it to make a Y shape. When you do all of this together, it gives a very dainty and delicate look. Then using a small star tip, I'm doing a reverse shell border, which is basically a fun little swirl back and forth. After that, I topped off my cake with some buttercream roses and finished off the look with some beautiful edible pearls that I found at the cake decorating section of my local craft store. And there we have it, our classic white wedding cake. Thank you for joining me. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer them, and I will see you next time on Boxed But Better with Jenna. Insert toothpick. What was that?
You got stabbed.
Okay.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.